Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Australian Esports University League. We've got UOW Esports taking on ANU Esports as well. Going to be our first series of the night. Will just be one series for tonight, just a good old classic battle, and we're getting into it as well with a lot of these teams. This is round one for the group stages, so still the teams trying to get prepared and see how they're able to fare. I'm excited because we've seen a lot of seasons now. Teams kind of come out of the woodwork. They've taken some time through the groups to be able to formulate some game plans and then get stronger and stronger as the weeks go on. And in particular, for UOW, I can already noticing some names there. Mark, by the way, he's been playing Dota for a while. I've seen him through a lot of other Australian tournaments as well, and a solid position 5 captain who will have that experience there. And then for ANU Esports, they've got Chestnut, and this is a player that I believe is on Your Soul Is Mine. I think he's playing the Oceanic League at the moment, so he's also getting a lot of different game time and experience through different leagues. So it's really going to be exciting to see how these teams can bring at least that one player with their experience and be able to kind of dish that out to a lot of these newer players and see how they're able to build from there, because that's the all important thing. But with how it's all looking, I mean, we have to give a big shout out to the sponsors, which is the reason why this is all available in the first place, and without them, we wouldn't have any of these games for us to cast, for you guys to watch. But we've got the Australian University League is presented by Chatime Australia, which is the bubble tea partner. We got AOC monitors, the monitor partner, Indomie, the noodle partner, and then Rig is the headset partner. Kicking things off, AOC, the best viewing experience. AOC is a global leader in monitor display technology. For more than 50 years, AOC have delivered on an exceptional viewing experience to millions of loyal customers worldwide. Today, the company offers a wide selection of stylish monitors for home, office, or gaming. Chatime, fresh iced tea. Try the new range today at your local store. Chatime is the fastest growing iced tea franchise in Australia. There are over 120 Chatime tea breweries with a commitment to quality ingredients and mix-ins and a flair of innovative flavor combinations to brew nothing but the very best iced teas. They've got Indomie coming back for another season. You got to feed your game with Indomie. Try out any of their flavors today. Indomie noodles are made from carefully selected ingredients, the best quality flour and fresh spices from the natural resources of Indonesia, giving it a unique and delicious taste. As a result, Indomie's success, their range has expanded to 14 different products. And lastly, a big shout out to Rig, what it takes to win. Rig develops headsets delivering superior audio for competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. Join the Rig team and enhance your gaming experience. And with that, again, just want to give a big shout out to all the sponsors for helping out. So I should be getting underway pretty shortly here. Of course, we are continuing on with the best of twos. We've had some games already so far this week. Why not? Let's pull that up real quick. The bracket. There we go. So I believe if I was able to work this one out correctly, the buy points have already been given in Group B. So RMIT and UQ Ultra Chads, they've already been rewarded buy points. So this is, I believe everyone's played one series so far. You can see that Adelaide University along with the USYD Blue Beta sitting pretty comfortably right now with 3 points. So it looks like they're able to take their first series 2-0. We've also then got UQ Ultra Chads and RMIT Red. These were some of the teams that were looking incredibly strong throughout the last season. I remember UQ Big Chads, I think the name was. Now it's Ultra Chads. This was a team that made a decent way through those finals, and then also the RMIT teams, I should say, always have a good showing as well. So we see right now, of course, the 5th and the 6th haven't played just yet for Group A. Looks like we have got everyone so far in played so far. This is a tentative bracket, still isn't up to date, and of course with the buy points already getting rewarded, it's a little bit up in the air. But at least round one, like I said, it's just so these are I like being able to see some of the plays from these grassroots tournaments then transition into some of the other tournaments as well, for Oceanic League, which is one of the I should say one of the more prominent tournaments right now in the Oceanic region. And like I brought up before, Mark has been playing in it a little bit. Gubala, which we saw in last season of the Australian University League. Chestnut as well is playing in that. So seeing how these players are coming from the grassroots and getting that experience, and this is the big thing, this is what we want to really try and provide a lot of these players, just that experience to be able to play in a competitive environment, be able to get the reps down, and then once you have those reps, then you're able to start to recognize a lot of your mistakes and how you can really work on them. So with that being said, we are still just waiting for one more player. Unfortunately, we're having a little bit of trouble getting everyone underway, but should be up pretty shortly here. So I'm just excited to see kind of the meta that we get to see between the University League as well, because a lot of teams will have their different play style. Mark is going to have a different way he wants to play the game of Dota compared to the captain of ANU, and we're going to see that between the different teams as well, and between the different groups as well. It's always a thing with if you look at regions in particular, like Southeast Asia region is going to have a different sort of meta compared to CIS. So how they want to play games, how they prioritize heroes, and banning, picking, what they like to do in that regard. So yeah, I'm excited to see how the teams are able to build that identity, because some of the teams are going to have players coming from previous seasons. Mark in particular, Pelsworth is another one who is I'm familiar with that name. So just at least being able to see these players coming back and playing in the teams and building up that experience is the all important thing. And then they can potentially get those calling to some of the higher games as well for the Oceanic League, or for other particular leagues as well that's going on in our LPL. But it's still just waiting. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't want to name and shame the last person who hasn't joined just yet, because that would feel you'd feel pretty rough about that one. Kubala, sorry, I had to do it. Man, he's not here on time. He's a carry player, I imagine, for UOW, and he's not doing it for us. So just waiting for the last person to join up in at the moment. Hopefully that's not going to take too long, but. So apparently he's just not responding at all. So what we're going to do is I'm going to chuck it over to the break screen while we wait, because we still haven't got any news where Gubala is, even though I kind of just name and shamed him. So I apologize about that. So yeah, we're actually going to send it to a break screen real quick, and we'll see what's going on with carrier for UOW. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We should have everything now underway. Unfortunately, UOW, they will be playing with a extra stand-in. They were already playing with a stand-in previously, heading into this game one. They're now going to add a extra person to the midst here, so this is could throw them in a bit of a whirlwind here, is that they're not going to have Gobala, their what I would imagine their position one carry, which is at least his most comfortable role that I see him on often. So they're not going to have him at the moment for this game. Potentially he'll be back in second game. Who knows what the current situation is for Mr. Gobala, but you have Fernando coming in to stand in for the boys. So hopefully this is not going to cause them too much chaos.
Dire team ban.
See, again, like we were talking about at the pre-game as well, very excited to see how these two teams are going to try and set up their drafts and what they want to prioritize here. Nothing really too different or too out of the ordinary with these first phase bans. Just a lot of the comfort, that Timber could be a factor on maybe UOW just potentially throughout some of their scrims. If they've done that, they haven't felt comfortable when they've versed the Timber, so they've wanted to ban that. Maybe it's a
10 seconds remaining.
specific hero that the ANU roster like to play as well, hence why that's a potential getting banned out there. So, but I'd love, honestly, this is a great opener. You can never go wrong. This is both teams. I'm fans of these openers here. Like, you can honestly never go wrong with a Shaman and an Earth Spirit. They are both going to be able to provide you what you need through the game. A little bit different either or, but the thing is stuns. That is one of the oldest lessons in Dota. Stuns just make it so easy to be able to play. It can turn someone from the best player, best Dota player in the world to a 1000 MMR player from being stunned. You cannot do anything. It just makes Dota so much easier to play. So picking up a Shaman, picking up an Earthshaker here for ANU, it just gives you, it means that Dota isn't always going to be difficult. You've got stuns to be able to lock people in place. It can make plays easier to formulate and create. And for UOW as well, with the Earth Spirit getting picked up. Now, this is a little bit more difficult of a hero to be able to play, but his rotation potential, being constantly pressuring the map as often as possible, is going to... Some teams can always play the Earth Spirit as a flex. You can kind of put him as a position 2 sometimes, but this is a very unlikely scenario. More than likely, it's going to be that position for Earth Spirit, the one who's going to be making high caliber plays and very fast tempo here. But they could just go into, if they were really wanting to be cheeky with this initial draft, they could have just gone like an Earth Spirit with the Morphling in this 8th pick. Then you've got 3 bands to be able to protect it. It does really depend how much emphasis they have on that Morph Earthshaker combo and if they can play it to a high level.
Radiant team ban.
The Phoenix getting picked up here for UOW. I mean, already ANU don't really have any ways to be able to deal with the Supernova. That would have been loud. These 2 early heroes from ANU, the Shaman and the Earthshaker, are not heavily... They don't have a great way to deal with the Supernova in their toolkit, so they're going to have to try and draft a big way to bring that down. And you already see as well ANU with their... At least with the bans, they're prioritizing with getting some of these strong combinations with the Phoenix. I mean, the Faceless Void's going to get taken care of. Not really a carry that we're seeing too much at the moment, but he definitely does still have a strong place in Dota when you have a lineup that is orientated around big team fights. And I was bringing up the Morphling about UOW. Even ANU can definitely run it. I mean, it's a great way to... You've got the combo with the Earthshaker. It's definitely been getting nerfed previously throughout a couple of patches, so you've got to keep that in mind. But you have high amount of attack speed thanks to the attribute shift. It's actually banned out, so never mind. I'm just talking a little bit too much and not seeing the bans that's already coming through. So I like that ban from UOW though. Honestly, I would not have hated anyone picking up, because then even Dire, like, they could have used it aggressively with the Earthshaker. So honestly, it would have been a very good game, regardless of who wanted to pick it up. I mean, it is early on though. You see either team making sure they use all their pick and ban time as well. They still got a decent amount in the reserve time, but at least using all of that 30 seconds per pick. But we're going to have to start to see a couple cores getting picked up here. More than likely, it's going to be these are the supports that are getting picked up here, which is interesting because Shaman's going to be your...
10 seconds.
I'm not a huge fan of Earthshaker 5, so I think this is more than likely a Shaman 5, which is interesting. I think does a lot more with levels, so and also gold, so not having as much priority. Because you definitely want the Earthshaker to be able to get items as well. Like, that's a hero that needs the blink, needs the shard. So him playing playing more of the back foot can hinder them, and they're actually going to pick up Bloodseeker. Okay. So a hero that has a little bit of magical amplification for the team. I mean, the Earth Spirit is high magic, so that Blood Rage, at least you're going to have heroes that you can combine it with, but the Bloodseekers, it's definitely a hero that we've seen flexed to some extent. You can play him as a position 3, you can play him as a position 1, but it's not like they've kind of drafted anything from ANU. This could just be a comfort pick, Fernando coming into at the last second here to fill in for UOW. So potentially this is just a comfort hero for him. He's just like, all right, boys, I'm coming in last second. I want to try and do the best I possibly can. So let's just give me a comfort hero that I'm able to shine on.
Weaver.
But he's going to have to verse the Weaver here, which, with the lack of control that UOW have, is going to be very awkward. Weaver's going to be able to get in and out of these fights. No way to really lock you in place. I mean, the Rupture's a bit annoying, which I do find intriguing why ANU picked it up. I mean, it's great to be able to get the Supernova to explode because of the high amount of attacks that can come out in a quick succession. But that's the hero I like. Not as much of a hard lockdown, but at least the root is great versus the Weaver. You're going to be a tanky hero that can provide you some solid tower defense, because you were kind of lacking that at the moment. The Phoenix and the Earth Spirit, not the greatest to be able to shove out the waves. Phoenix, once you get levels, is okay. The Earth Spirit as well, it can definitely get to that extreme, but at least if you need someone to stand in front of towers, then the Underlord's going to fill that role, and he can also start to itemize for a couple of auras as well, because you didn't really have the Earth Spirit Phoenix not really wanting to go down that route. So now, and even the damage mitigation is going to be pretty nice versus the Weaver, someone who has an immense amount of right click damage. So for the Atrophy aura, be a nice factor heading into this, but that is the issue though. You now leave yourself a little bit vulnerable. A Viper's going to get picked up here to kind of counter out the Underlord, so you've got a very easy mechanic now to be able to kill the Underlord with that break from the Nether Toxin, getting rid of the Atrophy aura, so it's a lot of the tankiness that the Underlord usually relies on. And this is a great game as well for the Viper, because I think more than often you really require having a team that's able to lock the enemy in place of the Nether Toxin. You got the Fissure, you've got the Shackles, even the Hex. I know it's I mean, they're still able to kind of move around as a chicken for a little while, but it still kind of does the trick. And this Viper can be played as position 2 as well. Now, I know a lot of the higher up tier 1 games, we see the Viper actually more than often played as a position 3 now instead of the position 2. But this is definitely a hero that, I would not be surprised still if it actually gets played as a position 2 here, because who knows how these boys if their offlaners actually have that capability of being able to play the Viper as the offlane. But it'd be a pretty good matchup as the
10
Bloodseeker.
seconds
You've got
remaining.
you always kind of want that melee range. So if that Earthshaker is a
5
position 4,
seconds remaining.
I guess the only issue is then you're gonna have a Weaver and Shaman as your two supports, two heroes in the safe lane, which are both pretty squishy, but Underlord and Phoenix not really going to
Radiant
do too much
team
there. So we're
ban.
just looking for UOW. They need a position 2 and ANU. I'd like them to have a position 2 as well. I actually really want the Viper to be in the off lane. So I think we're looking for both position 2s. At least the nice thing is that ANU have some flexibility, so the Viper can be played in different roles,
10
and
seconds
more than
remaining.
often, Viper's going to beat a matchup in the mid lane anyway, so it's very difficult for
5 seconds
UOW
remaining.
to have this ultra last pick. And we're going to see with the 23rd pick coming through from Radiant on how they want to set up their draft. It actually looks like UOW are thinking that this is going to be a position 2 Viper, with the Legion Commander getting banned out in that last phase. They still got one more ban as well, but they're just covering their full track series. Trying to see what the Legion ban is for. I mean, the pressed attack is great. Always having a save for the Weaver as well is really important, because this is a hero who doesn't want to get chain locked down into bursted and is
Dire team
always
ban.
very vulnerable at that. So at least having a hero with a save mechanic to allow you to get the time lapse off is super important. And again, you just have an extra way to deal with the Supernova, because they are lacking that. If this is a Viper position 2, then we might be able to see him go for more of like a right-click damage build, where then he can build a little bit more attack speed.
10
But if that's not
seconds
the case,
remaining.
then the Shaman and the Earthshaker both don't deal with the Supernova. So then it's fully relying on the
5
Weaver,
seconds remaining.
which can then get pretty difficult if
Radiant
you're just
team
having
pick.
to rely on one hero to deal with a big team fight. So they even ban out the Lina as well. So covering, their tracks here with the offlane and the position 2 ban. Lina, well known to be one of the
10
best
seconds
Supernova
remaining.
egg hitters. Would be a
5
bit worried
seconds
though
remaining.
against the Bloodseeker. Both Weaver and Bloodseeker are very reliant on their positioning, and Bloodright can kind of just take that out of
Dire
play.
team pick.
And what do they go? They actually go Bristleback. So Bristle, this is an interesting Bristle game. What can they pick? Void would have, if they pick Void, they probably win this game, honestly. Just because now you need a way to lock the Bristle. And you've got really good ways to deal with Bristleback, I'm not going to lie. You've got the Sunray for the percent damage.
10 seconds
You got the
remaining.
Firestorm, more percent damage. Bloodseeker has Pure. You now just
5
need a way to
seconds
force the
remaining.
Bristleback to stand turn to you. So where's my hero sheet? What's under a bunch of other sheets? That out real quick. They only got 50 seconds, which is a bit of an issue. Trying to see what their options are. They're gonna go for the Arc Warden.
Now select your heroes.
I can't. I'm not gonna lie and say I was expecting to come into this game 1 and see an Arc Warden. I don't know if that makes me too overly excited, considering that means this game might just go 50 minutes. But the Arc Warden getting picked up here for Calm. So Mark's actually playing the Bloodseeker, which I think is what they're going to put the Arc Warden mid. The Bloodseeker is your 1. Fernando's playing the Underlord. So Pels and Smiley Face will be the support duo here. It's interesting that they are going for the Arc Warden. It's not bad. I mean, usually you want to play Arc Warden versus range heroes because they need to heavily rely on sitting on the back, and Arc Warden can outrange you, and that bubble as well means that range heroes more often are not going to be able to get on top of it. But Weaver's a hero that has an immense amount of mobility with the Sakuchi, so should be able to close a distance. Bristle's going to be up in your face. Viper's still another hero that wants to be up in your face as well. How do we feel about the Arc Warden? Because what do they got? They got Supernova, which is great. Just any abilities that you can dump and force the enemy team to kind of spend all their resources on dealing with everyone but the Arc Warden is very important in fights. So let's see how they want to lane this right now. So it looks like Calm's actually going to go mid.
Prepare for battle.
It will also be the Viper in the mid lane as well. So I am worried, man. His Pellsworth's level 25 Phoenix. Jeez. What level's the Arc Warden? He's pretty high up there. Is Silver tier or is that Plat? Level 7, okay. He's getting close. When you've at least played him that much, I'd start to call you a... I'd start to get to the stage where my opinion on you lessens when you play the Arc Warden that much. So I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, Calm. And Haha's chilling. I don't think they kill him. What's so funny? We'll scout them all out. I mean, Radiant coming down. Let's see if they're able to brawl. I'm intrigued what Viper wants to pick up. And we'll just go for the Q. So the brawl is going to start at the level 1. And man, Underlord's getting teared apart. This immense amount of magical damage to start the game is way too high for the Underlord to be able to deal with. So Fernando will end up falling. But it looks like still Dire. With Calm coming over, they've now been able to pair up with the numbers advantage. And they're going to be able to at least get a trade here with one hero falling a piece. I mean, it did leave Chestnut solo, so he's going to get both bounties up top for free. As they might even be able to get a carrier. I mean, a courier, I should say. Keith just one hits it. And he's also going to do an immense amount of damage to Calm. But they actually want to punish the overstep there from the Shaman. But they'll turn. Fissure dropped. That's able to secure them. The second kill of the game will cost Keith his life as the Fissure blocks him in so he can't cut through. Mark sticks around, so he's got to TP up, but he's going to be pretty happy getting a kill and an assist. Just in the name of the Bloodseeker there. So what do we got in regards to the bounties? It looks like it's going to be a... There's only 3. Okay, there's one more up there. So it should be a 2 for 2 still. So all in all, I mean, who comes out? Lesser. Who got the first blood? Looks like Keith got it. Which is nice. He got both kills on Keith. So he's actually already got boots on the Shaman. And this is your position 5 Shaman as well. Which is going to be interesting. See how Keith is going to be able to play as a Shaman. But this lane's going to be really difficult. I worry for the Bloodseeker. You see Pellsworth looks like he's actually making the full run towards top. Not even TPing in. It's giving Mark some solo experience. But this is not going to be too fun of a time. A melee versus melee matchup. I am a little worried though for the Bristle as this game goes on. I definitely do think that they have the answers to be able to deal with Chestnut's Bristle. But we are already seeing, I mean, this could be a potential another kill. As Chestnut stacking up the Quill along with the Goo. Does he want to dive under the tower? Man, this is an aggressive dive. One more Quill's enough. The tower actually might claim him instead. Tries to get out of that death threshold with the cell, but it's not enough. And down bot as well. Fernando, he'll end up falling. Keith still only level 1. He's about to pick up the extra level. Now they'll think about actually turning here. They're 3 for 3. Man, the kills are coming through early in this first game of the best of 2. Do have to reiterate here. Oh, it should be fine. He's got the dive level 2. Do have to reiterate that the boys on UOW are playing with a stand-in Fernando on the Underlord. Another thing just to keep in mind. I'm intrigued to see how the Earthshaker wants to try and play this early game, because this is not really a lane he's going to be able to do too much with. I honestly might even think about going all the way back to base. He's got no mana, got no health. He doesn't really have anything to do across the map at the moment. He could go back to base. I mean, Viper doesn't have a bottle, so it's not like you have to TP in. His next... The next kind of step for the Earthshaker is probably contesting the power rune. He might even stop the next pull from the Phoenix, which it looks like that's what Jay's doing. So beautifully done. And that's the number one thing in Dota. You just really want to make sure you're never doing nothing. The number one rule, make sure you can always do something across the map. Whether it's stopping the enemy team from pulling, making that way to the power rune. As one fissure gets a kill on the Arc Warden. But down bot, still the continued aggression though. Keith. Only got 1 point up in the shackles. They're going to be careful because they are falling pretty low. They're actually going to try and man fight Fernando, but he's still going to end up falling there. As Weaver just gets the Shikushi away, we'll try and even find the life of the courier. Obviously, he doesn't have the range to be able to continue chasing. So a very good start for the Weaver at the moment, 2-0 and 2. You do have to keep in mind, though, that this is giving a lot of movement speed over. And wait, guess what? There's that movement that we were speaking about. The Earthshaker coming over, securing the haste for the Viper, finding the kill on the Arc Warden. This is going to be a tricky game here for Dai to be able to play. UOW very much on a window where they need to make it to the late game where Arc Warden's going to feel safe.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And they honestly have a pretty decent way to do so. The Underlord, one of the best heroes to stall games out with just being able to sit by towers and chuck out that Firestorm. Makes it very, very difficult for the enemy team to walk up and put pressure on the objectives. As JA is actually going to end up dying here. It's a solo kills for Pellsworth, and he's going to be pretty happy about that. Right by the bounty timing as well. So he's going to be able to snag these 2 bounties for free, getting a lot of gold for himself and the team. But man, Chestnut's really struggling right now on the Bristol, and I find that surprising. I mean, Bloodseeker's got decent armor, so the Quills aren't going to do as much as some of the other heroes that you would expect to lane against. Downbot actually. Keith stuck out in the root. Fernando along with Smiley Face going to be able to find a kill, and they've got the vision on the Weaver as well thanks to the Bloodseeker, so he just runs on through and gets smacked down by Smiley Face there. Might even be able to get the courier as well. There's some nice micro coming through. I like this early earn pickup. Very important. More than likely we're going to see Smiley Face building into that Spirit Vessel. But Mark, the Fissure is on the wrong side. Oh, the silence. They still have the enchant totem though to stop the TP. Mark almost made it away. That Bloodright silence stopping the lockdown that the Shaman would have been required to provide to cancel the TP. But at least Jay was on the northern side of the Bloodright, so was able to cancel that one. They are coming on mid though. Viper's going to be pretty careful. The roll's on cooldown, and he's actually going to make it out there. So nice TP from Clean Cole. Whether he saw that roll previously or not, but just went for the TP, dead in their face. I wonder if they could have got an extra kill out of mid, because we did see that rotation from the Earthshaker previously. But I wonder if they could have got an extra kill. They still definitely can with that Viper level 6. You see at the moment, Viper's only got a 203 build as well. So nothing that's going to enable you to be able to actually top lane Phoenix. So all in all, it's been a pretty solid laning stage right now from Dai. I mean, you take a look at the net worth department. They've got the Underlord and the Bloodseeker on top. The Arc Warden very close by as well. And they're actually bringing Mark to the bottom lane. So they want to try and get another kill on the Weaver. Still going to be pretty careful right now. Without any support showing down bot, it should be obvious for Calm. Because they've got this ward on the back line as well. So it looks like he's a little aware. I'd like to see the Arc Warden using the Spark Race a little bit more defensively. But there we go. Dive's going to come through. Fissure reveals as well at least the positioning from Jay. But with TP rotation, it's not going to be enough to be able to keep the Arc Warden alive. At least they will find the kill on the Viper. Calm did a lot of damage with that extra Tempest double to be able to find the kill on the position 2. Counterpart, they're Ethan going to get another kill as well to the name with Mark TPing in. He's slowly going to get chased down. He tries to go for a cute deny. Can he get it off? Whoa, it's close with the clap. But it's not going to be there. Smiley Face claims that one with the kick.
Radiant's courier has been
So the Arc Warden does die though. So you'd kind of... You'd argue whether that's worth or not. Because... Oh, the Viper... Oh, Weaver? He's actually dead here. And that's a solo kill for Mark. And that's what I was talking about, man. The Weaver matchup. It's an interesting one. It's definitely an interesting one versus the Bloodseeker. Someone... Poe's dead? They are lacking a lot of damage, but they might have at least the chain lockdown. Jay a little bit too late there. Now they're going to try and punish. I mean, Pose, you can chuck out some Fire Spirits. Doesn't have too many to be able to utilize. He's got to be careful if he walks back up, though. Like, Radiant, they really want this kill, but there's not been any extra rotations. No one's got TP at the moment from Radiant. Weaver's going to show back up to the top side. So it gets a kill on top of the Phoenix, as they're still chasing down the extra support, though. Smiley Face and Mark are getting very active through this early game. They've been able to accumulate a 2,000 net worth lead. Mark's been a part of 7 out of the 11 kills so far. He's on top of the net worth and having a very good start to this game 1.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
But I have to just constantly reiterate that the win condition right now from UOW is the Arc Warden. These Arc Warden has to have a good time. So it's Operation Shutdown Arc Warden, but it's more like Operation Dire. Just space needs to be provided. They're continuing to get a lot of bounties across the map. That's actually going to be all 4. So even though Dire are playing with a stand-in this early game from them, they're playing with 2 stand-ins as well to keep in mind. So this has been a hell of a performance from them so far. And this is what you want to see. You know, still the experience shining from Mark, whether he's, you know, how vocal he's being right now is a question, but usually this is their, what I would imagine, their captain and position 5 player, who's a lot more of the time vocal in the teams that he's in. You know, the one giving the commands, and when you play as a position 1, you kind of take that back seat until you're the strongest in the game, and then you want to be the one making the calls. But you know, if props to whoever's making the calls right now from UOW, because they've got a 3,000 net worth lead, and they're thinking about even smoking up and try and find a kill on the Viper. They want to continue to grow the status quo of the game. As Fissures from Jay going to hold them back. They're even going to drop the Supernova though, and I don't think Radiant going to be able to deal with it. Yeah, they just melt through the Viper. Earthshaker's going to run on forward as well, but that's going to be Jay's demise. It's a double kills for Pellsworth. They do have Keith and Weaver showing up, but they just don't have the numbers to be able to brawl right now underneath the T1 tower. Dire, not a care in the world, going head to head versus the boys on Radiant. And we're seeing right now Radiant, they're not playing with their strongest hero. Chestnut or the Bristleback did not have a good laning stage at all. So this is a 5,000 net worth lead 12 minutes into this game. Tier 1 tower mid is under pressure, and this is what I'm worried about, because the Bristleback, this is not a good Bristol game. You're going against the pure damage on the Bloodright, 4% max burn from the Firestorm. You got the Sunbreeze as well, which I'd honestly like to be seeing start to get maxed out from Pellsworth. But just look at this, like, how do they start fights? Like, Jay can't run on forward, Shaman can't stand his ground. That's a nice stun from 2 on Jay. And then with the Fissure follow-up as well, Mark, he's got a lot of movement speed, but it looks like Pellsworth, he did commit on forward with the dive. Even Smiley Face wants to get involved as well, but finally Dire, their resources are slowly starting to dwindle, but they're still able to man fight. Mark just goes in, cleans up the kill on the Weaver, and now he's going to try and turn and rupture up Chestnut as well, who's falling low. One more swipe of the axe, finds a kill from the Underlord, and he's still able to man fight as well. Firestorm, another round of the abilities are back up here, as Mark comes back in with the life seal, is going to turn towards the Viper. A dominating streak now for Mark. He's 5-1-9. And they've just absolutely dominating that team fight there. 7,000 net worth lead for the boys on UOW. Kill after kill. Mark might end up dying mid though. He's going to be careful. I don't think he's going to have the cast range, but Mark still might fall with Haha diving, and he will. That's a big kill. 549 gold. Haha picking that one up. A nice proc coming through with the Javelin. But you got to keep in mind, man, guess who's farming? It's something we've been saying, and we will continue to say. The Arc Warden getting the farm is the important thing. The hero that is going to be carrying them through the stage of this game. If they can give him a good performance, then it's going to be vital to their team's success. And honestly, it's looking like they're able to give him that solid performance right now. And with how much farm he's getting across the map. Midas has got the javelin working on the maelstrom. Pellsworth, oh, he missed the dive. He didn't cast it properly where you can dive on forward and get the rune. He had to actually cancel it. So he will sacrifice his life for the double damage, whether that's worth it or not. What does Chestnut got? Okay, so he's trying to tank up an immense amount this game. I want to see Radiant group up. Like, you are super strong. Even though you're down 7,000 gold, like, this is the stage in the game where you have to be the one making plays. Which I'm worried about, because the fact that Dai actually have a 7,000 net worth lead when they're the ones to win the late game with the Arc Warden is very, very worrying. Like, this is not a good sign for the boys on ANU Esports. But at least we see that they're not comfortable with the status quo. Like, they're trying to make plays across the map. They're making sure that it's not UOW just safely farming up across. And, well, Mark, unfortunately, is going to be able to wrap on through and find the kill on Jace. The urn should tick him out there. But Chestnut's caught out a little bit here. They'll lock him in with the rupture. Kick rolling forward, back as well. Blood right connection. It's a lot of quills that are stacking up. But without the extra help of the team, they won't be able to punish Dai with their low health pool. That's now a Spirit Vessel completed on your position 4. They've already shown that they can kill off the Bristleback as Calm. He's in trouble here. He's going to try and come on forward. We'll have a way to be able to cancel the TP, and now that should be plenty of damage for the Arc Warden kill. Great rotation for them. I believe that was an invisibility rune from Keith as well. So an important pick-off was the top net worth there for the Arc Warden. Okay. This is a freebie if I've ever seen one. Drop the Magnetize. Even Mark's going to sweep on through and get a little bit of experience. They even got some vision around the mid wave as well. Fernando doesn't want to drop out the root. But all in all, man, look at the action that we've had so far. 33 kills, 16 minutes in. We're 2 kills a minute right now, which is crazy. Usually 1 kill a minute we'd be pretty happy with. But the fact that we're getting 2 kills a minute is a stupid amount of action throughout this game. But at least the net worth, like, where's the disparison? Mainly it's in the supports. Like, the Viper as well has got absolutely nothing. 2, 4, and 3. Only 1 point up in the Nether Toxin, but they're actually going to dive deep here. Supernova straight on top of the head of Radiant. They just have to try and kill off the Earth Spirit with Supernova there exploding. It's even going to get the catch onto the Bristleback as well. Chestnut will be forced inside the base. You see how much that percent damage is able to take him apart there. Already down to half HP. But this is just showing that Radiant, the Weaver is... Who's going to die? He's not. Weaver is the only person that can really deal with the Supernova. But Haha's not at a stage where he's going to feel too comfortable at all. Bounty. Like, he's got some pretty good farm. He's actually going for the Lincolns as his next item. It's, I mean, you're mainly worried about the Rupture, which is the big thing. There are going to be single target items coming through eventually, man. Smiley Face is being such a menace right now. The solo kill potential that he has on the supports are dire. They're even trying to connect to the fight just in case a big team fight does break out. Smiley Face even going to roll on forward for Chestnut, but he doesn't have the reinforcements just yet. They had all their resources focused on the Earthshaker, which was able to net them a second kill through that engagement. And even Smiley Face keeps his life as well. The lack of control, once you deal with the Shaman and the Earthshaker, really is being highlighted so far. And we were happy with the Shaman and the Earthshaker getting picked up with, like, stuns wins games. But the rest of the team just don't have stuns. Oof, quick time lapse. You're still kind of in trouble if they want to keep hunting. But man, look at how they're playing across the map. This is almost Boots of Travel going to be completed for Calm. So now he's going to be able to find even more across the map. He can even start to show up to a lot more of these fights. So even though Weaver's doing really well in the net worth, it's the fact that Pellsworth is 6, 3, and 11, has a Veil completed. The Earth Spirit is 7, 1, and 10. So all of Dire are playing a stupidly exceptional game 1. You know, Arc Warden, I guess, has got 3 deaths, but let's be real. Calm, he's still doing a good job here. Fighting the farm he can. And this is just the name of the game, man. Protect your towers. Chestnut. Uh-oh. That damage starting to stack up. Is able to run back towards the rest of the team. Mark gets out of the Serpent Wards, but it's a beautiful fissure. Lock him in place, but now with the Supernova dropped in the head. Mark's able to man fight the Echo Slam. Chucked out. They'll find the kill onto 2, but Dire, they've just got way too much damage. They melt through Radiant. As UOW coming out on top there. Might even be able to get a courier as well to their name. But the big team fight's starting to show. I mean, they don't have a way to be able to deal with that Supernova. You see just egg over the top directly on their head. They struck down a pretty good Serpent Wards and a pretty good Echo, but this Bristle is just, he's not tanky. And this is a worry. Like, the lane versus Bloodseeker, honestly, kind of surprising that it didn't go as well. I mean, we highlighted that the Bloodseeker is an agility hero, so you're going to have naturally some pretty good armor. The pure damage as well through a majority of the abilities is a big factor. Even the Shard, once you pick it up, turns it into pure damage and also percent damage as well. They've got enough damage to kill off the Weaver? No, they don't. Control was the main thing they were lacking. One more extra stun would have been enough. But it looks like the Phoenix, they'll turn for him instead. Weaver is dishing out a crap load of damage right now. He's also going to be able to have the movement speed to chase down Pellsworth. Needs a little bit of help coming through from the team. But I don't think, unfortunately, that the Phoenix is going to get any sort of assistance. So, a slow death there from Pels. A lot of gold as well. We've been seeing that Weaver's been successfully finding a lot of these kill streaks across the map. I mean, he's still got a couple to claim. I believe Mark's on 1. I would say the Earth Spirit as well would be. I like this play though. This is what you need to do. You got double damage runes, Serpent Wards, minus armor from the bugs. They know they need to do something, because going late game, I mean, you're down 13,000 gold. You need to make something work. But the issue is that the Viper's just way too far away from the team. There's been a little bit of miscommunication issues, it looks like, so far with Viper, who hasn't just been able to connect with the team properly with the positioning. And it's going to cost him another hero here, as Jay even gets caught out as well. So that's 2 falling there right now from the boys over on Radiant. ANU just unable to get connected as a team. And that's going to be the consequence as a tier 2 tower. Mid's going to end up falling. They'll even run into Chestnut right now, who sidesteps the roll. But you got to keep in mind, man, the Spirit Vessel alone with the Sun Ray, Pels chucks it a little bit shy. It's actually going to be careful with the Phoenix. Drops the Supernova inside the middle of the base. But once again, how do Radiant deal with the Phoenix Egg? They have to turn their attention away to get outside the AoE. But they still can't man-fight afterwards. Weaver just gets the time-lapse off in the nick of times. Now going to be able to turn and find the kill on the Phoenix. It's plenty of damage. Fidget locks in 3. Earthshaker is still without the blink. He actually just tries to run on forward and drop the Echo Slam. But finally, Fernando, they're sounding the retreat with the Dark Rift. Weaver picks up a killing spree here. He's even chasing for more as well with a kill on Mark. I don't think he'll be able to find that one though. So this game is all on Weaver, 8, 4, and 6. Haha, having an incredible performance. What, Jay's ultra dead? Fusion Diffusal? What's going on? He just ran on forward. If they got a stun, is Calm actually get out? Oh my god, he doesn't. Haha, no! On the right click! Oh, you can't lose ages like that. That's so rough. I should have seen if he had time lapse up or not. I mean, it says he does now, but... Oh, that's no bueno. 14,000 net worth lead continuing to grow for UOW. I might be able to catch up Mark, who's farming very aggressively away from the team. Keith once again has another invis room to be able to utilize here, and yep, they just bring down the Shaman with ease. Sorry, the Bloodseeker with ease there. And with that kill, I'd like to see Radiant get active across the map. We've got the bounties coming up in about 25 seconds. I actually want to fight. Chestnut's getting melted down with the percent damage. It is not going to feel tanky at all. Chestnut will fall. Earth Spirit's even getting healed up as well thanks to the Sun Ray, but the Arc One and Tempest Double is even going to move in forward. A lot of damage on the Viper. Clean Cole playing a little bit passive at the moment. Still turns and tries the man fight. Calm standing his ground on the high ground. Actually wants to try and TP away as the Weaver shows up. They haven't been able to deal with the Supernova, but it looks like just a Delta split. So not the greatest Supernova coming to effect, but they're still trying to chase the backline. There's Keith and Jay, the duo support right now from ANU, controlling up the Earth Spirit. But once again, they've got the Sun Ray. A little bit of that extra health is enough to be able to enable the Earth Spirit to get the roll. And now they turn and kill off Jay. So a bit of an overstep from Radiant will get punished there, as they might even be able to catch out the Weaver with just a little bit of information. Unfortunately, that information hasn't been provided so far. So 15,000 net worth lead, 25 minutes into this one. UOW continuing to look in dominant fashion, with a 96% probability as well. So this is, or as we do, unfortunately have a bit of a pause, but it's honestly fair. Like, let's be real. This has been quite the action-packed game. You know, for pause is going to come out, the players are definitely probably needing that little bit of time to be able to recoup and get everything down pat. I mean, I was going to say it's not going to be too long of pause. It's already back, but no, that's another DC, unfortunately. So the Earth Spirit, he's got the shard. He's got that remnant now, giving a little bit of vision. Increases the charge count as well by 4. So he's feeling super, super good now. And look how farmed he is. Chestnut's actually got no net worth. This is a rough game for the Bristleback. I don't know how Bristle plays Dota, honestly. Like, this is not going to be a hero. And now it makes me wonder, how are you going to kill the Arc Warden? Because the Bristleback had to be someone who just runs in and gets on top of the Arc Warden. But, like, you're going up against heroes that have already one itemized to deal with you, thanks to the early Spirit Vessel getting picked up. Like, they have 3 percentage I should say they have 3 damage types that have percentage in them. The Sunray 6%, Spirit Vessel was 4%, and the Firestorm is another 4% as well. And Bristleback is someone who always utilizes your tankiness, be able to run in the fights, and especially this game as well, because you have to run through even more crap on the ground to get to the Arc Warden. Your Viper's another hero that relies on being incredibly tanky. So, I mean, I know it's all doom and gloom, but how do they win this game for Radiant? Let's see. So, I mean, Jay's not going for... Okay, he has actually got the Blink back queued up. We did see the 4-staff previously, which, you know, 4-staff, honestly, against the Underlord route, against the Blood Right's pretty nice. Even against the Arc Warden as well, another factor is honestly pretty nice. But you have to go Blink. Like, you have to go Blink. And I love the Diffuser Blade, actually. This is something we haven't really spoken about from the Arc Warden, but you know, Bristleback is a hero that relies heavily on mana. Viper is a hero that relies heavily on mana. Earthshaker. But mainly the Viper and the Bristle, because they don't have the greatest mana pool, and they do very much need mana. Earthshaker at least has a decent amount once you get levels. Even then, he's only got 1.8 intel gain. The Arcane Ring's going to be pretty nice for him. You see 10 intel. Yeah, I honestly, this diffuser blade pickup, it's, we see it can be kind of that situational item on, it seems like it can always work in some games when you have these when you have strength heroes that need to be dishing out abilities constantly, like the Bristle. Keith? Run to the Earth Spirit. And now with the Underlord showing up, they have to cancel the Shackles. I mean, Jay's just pump faking the fissure, but actually won't be able to get it off thanks to the silence. And now they're forced to disengage back inside the base as Haha is protected with the BKB, but still ruptured up, so they're able to right-click him down. Fissure gives him a little bit of space to be able to roll forward, sets up for the Blood Riot, and he just didn't get the time-lapse off. Had a little bit of a window to be able to utilize the ultimate there, but he's going to get punished. And now Dire, they're up the high ground. They still have all 5 of their heroes available for this high ground push, and Chestnut on the front line has to be pretty goddamn careful here. We've seen how squishy he can feel in a game like this when you've got a couple of counters. The big factor is just being able to lock him in place so that Sunray goes to work, so the Firestorm goes to work. Weaver's going to be up in 35 seconds. They still are yet without the blink as well, so they really need this big item here for the Earthshakers for their teamfight initiation. That's the one thing they're lacking at the moment. They want this tier 3 tower. Not going to be able to find it though. Mark even drops the BKB, but that's a great egg on top of the backline. But where's the protection? No one's moving forward at the moment. It's just Mark and the Earth Spirit. They're able to bring down the Supernova, but it's going to cost them all their heroes as Viper's the sole survivor. But Calm, along with Mark, going to be able to close the distance here. Clean Cold trying to man fight. He will still get the kill on Calm, who TP's out in the midst of the Nether Toxin there. But Viper's actually going to try and buy back here and punish Dive from not being able to retreat outside the base. It looks like without the control, Viper won't have any ways to lock them in. As Fernando's actually coming back on forward. They can definitely get the kill on the Viper if he shows on top of the wave. It looks like they've already retreated away. So a good fight for them. They do lose the Arc Warden, but you force the buyback there on the position 2, who has no net worth this game. Viper is neck and neck with the position 4 and 5 net worth on Dire, going to show how far ahead they are right now in this game 1 of the best of 2. But again, we have to keep saying, I mean, late game, it's a worry. At least the Arc Warden, is down without the Midas being on cooldown, so he's wasting a little bit of that duration. If they get the kill right now, I mean, this is just, Viper's game is going out the window. Earth Spirit with the Bloodseeker is such a cute combo. Kick with the Rupture, so much pure damage, down for 100. And I just want to see them walking down bot. You know the Viper, that's a dieback. Like, why not go high ground? You're so strong right now. The Earthshaker, they used a lot of their ultimates last fight. You're going to have Supernova up in 10 seconds. You put the Underlord on the front line, and how do Radiant start fights? And Haha is just going to try and move forward, get on top of the Arc Warden with the BKB popped as well, but the Fissure's locking away the rest of the team to be able to protect out the Weaver, so he has to utilize the time lapse, roll in as well. They're going to drop the Supernova in a great spot along with Gleipnir, man. Just so much damage is coming through for the Arc Warden. They're unable to deal with Calm, who's sieging on top of the back. 4 will drop. Smiley Face still going to roll in pretty aggressively. Got to be careful because they do have the buyback. Sunray's going to give him a little bit of extra health to be able to play around with. Actually enables him to be able to get the roll away. So Smiley Face keeping his life and just making space so the rest of the team can take the full set of racks. And they can turn. They're going to be careful how far they come outside the base because the Arc Warden melts. Weaver's going to end up falling dead for 70. They turn for Chestnut as well. The pure damage is just way too much. Mark shreds them apart. He's got this shard. And the G's are dropped. They're going to have to tap out here. ANU calling it quits. And man, this is a beautiful performance from the boys on UOW. Coming into this game 1, they were already playing with the stand-in. Last minute, they had an extra stand-in come as well. And they looked so dominant. I mean, just not a good bristleback game. We saw honestly was surprised at how poorly that Bristleback's lane went versus the Bloodseeker, but overall, if you don't have a good game, you see the counters they've got. Bloodseeker pure damage, you got percent with the Phoenix, percent with the Underlord. Earth Spirit gets an incredibly fast Spirit Vessel. UOW, their laning stage was so strong, the rotations on point, and this is a team with, if they're able to look like this with all their standings, this is without Gubala as their carry. I mean, this is Mark, more than likely as well, is the fact that how strong he was able to play. So, all in all, a beautiful overall performance from UOW. They're going to be able to take a game one here and see if this momentum is going to be able to continue into the second game. With that being said, we're going to send it to a quick break with game two coming around this corner shortly.
team back. Seconds remaining. Radiant team back. Dire team back.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We've got our second game underway here in the best of two between UOW Esports and ANU Esports. It's going to be an exciting matchup, and UAW, they've got the full team back. Well, I say full team. They've got at least Gubala God back with them. So we saw in the last game, they had the stand-in come through, and that was Fernando, who was playing the position 3. So it looks like this is should go back to how the roster's looking like at least beforehand. So we'll see. Yeah, maybe Gubala was the issue. Well, I'm saying that preemptively before this game's even started. So who knows if that's actually the case or not. But they're going to open up here with a gyrocopter. Okay, very, very interesting pick. I mean, I'm intrigued to see how the gyro is actually going to work, because this is a hero that is getting played I'm seeing some flexibility with the gyrocopter, mainly in regards to playing it as like a support. I'm seeing a lot of people attempt to play the gyrocopter as like a position 5. So maybe that's the case. You know, we've seen occasionally that gyro is even going to get played in the mid lane. Some teams like playing it as a position 2. So this could be interesting to see how the flexibility is really going to come out from that. Like, they could definitely go for like a gyro IO, and then I think the only way we really see the gyro played as position 1 lately is with a alchemist on your team, so you can feed in the Agdams, or if you have an IO, I think. If that's not the case, then we never really see the gyrocopter 1 as much. But yeah, I'm kind of down for it. They pick up the Phoenix, which was a incredible hero. Pellsworth, they did a lot of work on, and we saw last game that ANU didn't have the greatest way to deal with the Phoenix, and I like this a lot more. Like, I think drafts, if you've got the second pick in the draft, that means you're going to have the 8th pick overall, which is where the Juggernaut was picked up. And this is most commonly where you pick up a carry or a core, because then you can use the next phase to be able to protect that carry. A lot of the times that the second phase 3 bans are used just to protect what you just picked up in the 8th pick. So I like that at least they picked the Jug here. It's already a way to deal with the Phoenix. Maybe a Morphling could have been better suited early, but again, you know, who knows how comfortable they are with the Morphling. It's which did just actually get banned out anyway. So one of the best carry replica targets with just Gyrocopter, getting the Flak Cannon, dealing with the Supernova as well. So, like last game, Weaver could definitely deal with the Supernova, but it's now Jug can freely right-click, which is the thing with the Blade Fury. You might still have someone on UOW that has a BKB piercing stun, which I think is probably the route they're looking to go down. I always think when the hard counters to Phoenix is anyone that has this built-in magic immunity to deal with the Supernova. So Lifestealer and Jug have always been super strong. I know both those heroes aren't like, they're not instant worthy heroes of getting picked up in the first phase, but they're still, you know, up there in the meta. But any BKB, as soon as a position, as soon as a core picks up a BKB, then the supernova always has to be
10 seconds
better positioned in fights. So I think UOW, they're gonna have to probably look for
5 seconds remaining.
a position 3 to protect that egg. You know, you could probably go for something like Legion, Axe, fulfill that role if you're looking for it in the off lane.
Dire team pick.
They ban the Ursa. I like the Ursa ban. So they still think that the gyros. They even banned the Arc Warden as well. They're like, all right, you know, you pulled out this goddamn filthy Arc Warden in the first game, and we're like, all right, there
10
is no
seconds
chance we're
remaining.
letting you pick that one up again. That's just something we don't want to have to go up
5
against.
seconds remaining.
And honestly, I don't blame them. Like, who really wants to be versing an Arc Warden? We saw them, unfortunately, didn't have a way to be able to deal with Calm's Arc Warden, so they're like, you know what, we'll just ban it this time. And they're even going to pick up a Juggernaut. Oh, sorry, a Magnus, I should say. So now Jug's going to get heavily enabled here. And Mag's also pretty decent versus the Supernova. You go Treads, Echo Saber if you're like a core mag, like a position 2. So Echo Saber's already going to give you 2 very fast hits to stack onto the hit count to kill off the Supernova Phoenix Egg. And yeah, you often like to build attack speed. You got Treads. AC is a pretty core item. So I don't mind the pickup here from ANU with the mag getting chosen. I'm just intrigued to see they've got a lot of physical damage right now from ANU. So that's one thing they are going to need a little bit of. They're going to need a little bit of control and a little bit of magic damage as well getting picked up soon. And once they're able to fulfill that, then we'll start to see that the draft is becoming a little bit more out-rounded. What are UAW looking for at the moment? I mean, again, still haven't really seen the flexibility right now with the gyrocopter, as in we don't, not 100% sure on where this hero is looking to be played. They've used a lot of their reserve time at the moment. They've only got 25 seconds left, and they're only up to their 3rd pick. So this is really going to set them up for the draft because they've got 2 answer picks now. So they should feel like they're the ones heading into the last phase with an advantage. And they pick up the Sand King. Okay. So not necessarily that BKB piercing stun like we were thinking, but it's an immense amount of magical damage from UOW with the Gyro, Phoenix, Sand King. You've got good initiation now with the Sand King to start fights, Phoenix to follow up, Gyro to follow up. Sand King lane versus Jug is like a lane versus melee matchup's always relatively strong, just because you have the enemy position 1 has to position himself in the Sandstorm or in the Caustic Finale. So at least this should be a time where they're able to dish out a decent chunk of damage.
Team pick.
Mirana. I like that a lot, actually. So it's a... Actually, what are they doing?
10 seconds remaining.
I think it's a Mirana 4,
5
Tusk
seconds
5.
remaining.
They're looking for their position 3 last. And it's also a great hero to be able to kill off the Supernova. I think Mirana's the best support right now.
Spirit.
just because the leap attacks to be able to kill the supernova. So now you've got, honestly, last game was a big issue with that Phoenix egg. Now you've drafted 3 ways to destroy it. And now it just comes down to the how ANU want to flex it. You know, we still don't know UAW's draft. Like, both teams have some flexibility. The mag can be played as a 3 or a 2. The gyro can be played, I think it's more than likely a position
5 seconds remaining.
It's a position 1 or 5. That's the last pick that UOW are looking for. I've seen Southeast Asia run the 5 gyro. I've seen China run the 5 gyro. I think even Europe have tried it for a little bit as well. So it's starting to kind of come into the tier 1 meta of gyro as a position 5, but we'll see how Mark is prioritizing that, if he feels comfortable with being able to run it as a support, or if they're just like, you know what, let's go the old classic gyrocopter as a position 1. If they do that, then I wouldn't mind seeing them go for someone like an ogre or something. Gyro really does like to have some way to be buffed up, and the fact that you're already going into a mag and a Tusker, which is going to heavily amplify not only the farming speed because of the empower, but also just the overall damage they dish out through their physical as the game goes on. So Gyro is not really going to get any amplification.
10 seconds remaining.
That's why I like the ogre, because then you also got a lot of armor, so you can kind of trade relatively well. If this is not the gyro 1, what are they looking for? Let's see. Well, they need a win condition then. Ursa's banned. They need tower hitting.
10 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
They're gonna well, I mean, it could still be an IO call, but I think it's this is what we brought up earlier. We literally said that if Gyro's going to be played at position 1, I think you pretty much only play it with an IO as a support or with an Alchemist on your team to feed him the Aghanims. I do not think teams apart from that have a lot of emphasis on the gyrocopter as a core. And now this is important as well, because I've seen previously through a lot of the seasons of the AEL, any team that is able to play the IO always has a competitive advantage over the enemy team. It just forces out a ban. It can be this sneaky pick. And it looks like Mark's actually playing a core role on this team. Okay. Interesting. So I thought he was going to be the one playing the support with the team, but no, he's their off-lane player, picking up the Sand King. Finally faces on the Iroh. That's going to leave Gubala God on the Gyrocopter, someone I was incredibly impressed with in the last season of the AEL, and also we're speaking about earlier, just the factor of how these players are able to come from the grassroots tournaments and work their way up into some higher leagues, and that's definitely something that Gubala has done, getting some limelight in the Oceanic. So we'll see how he's going to be able to play. I mean, UOW bringing in the roster now. They're able to take game 1 though, so you know, if they lose this second game, it's all on Gubala. Got to blame him. But they go back for the Pellsworth Phoenix, which, as we see, level 25. So his Phoenix is through the roof. He's quite the Phoenix player, obviously. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. A second game underway. Got to keep in mind, it is just a best of 2 for anyone that is not aware. So for the group stages, they are best of 2s, so we can get all the scores situated. Yeah, I don't mind me a best of 2 as well for the groups. It's nice when you're able to have that kind of round robin format in a way. We even get a little bit fancy, got the logos up, so it's going to make it a bit easier now for us to remember the teams. Unfortunately, they don't have the team tags in their names. One of them does on Radiant. Do they? No. But here we go. ANU, very aggressive movement in the jungle right now. They're going to scout out Pels and Mark. Unfortunately, Mark does eat the arrow, and that's going to set up perfectly for the Sunstrike. His first blood picked up from Keith. Really nicely done. We're going to see another very early first blood in the game. I will give information over so that Radiant can move aggressively and sweep on through and take that bounty up on the high ground. So they're still going to be able to go 2 for 2 with the bounties, but of course giving up first blood is the big factor here. And something I want to bring up, we didn't speak about this Invoker last pick here from Dire. Forcing the Magnus into a position 3 role, and now having the Invoker as their mid matchup versus Calm on the Ember. So this is going to be interesting because this is an Exort Invoker who, honestly, they don't have the greatest ways to be able to set up for the Sunstrike, which I think is a massive way to enable the Invoker throughout Dota. The Walrus, Tag Team Walrus Punch. Yeah, even once the Tuskar is level 10, with the Walrus Punch having that 1.4 second stun duration, it's still not long enough for the Sunstrike. It's got a 1.7 second delay, so that's really the only setup they have, because they don't have good setup for the arrow right now. For the arrow, you need a stun into something. So I honestly would have rather it to be a Cross-Wex Invoker, because I think this is a game where you're going to get run over the map. I think you don't have control for Calm, who also going up against an Invoker. In the lane, you've got a Purge, and overall in the game, you have a Purge with the Tornado to deal with the Flame Guard. So that's more often you see it to be a nuisance in the lane as a counter. But yeah, Calm's going to have a very important impact as this game goes on. The Radiant have their initiation is on the Ember and the Sand King, whereas Dire, it's just on the Mag Blink, which can be a little difficult. So who do I favor in this game? I mean, I think Dire just have they're too slow with their team. This can definitely all of a sudden maybe Invoker gets some pretty godly Sunstrikes, but if that's not the case, then I'm a bit worried, because it's an Ire Gyrocopter. And that is a formidable combo. Yeah, MMR on Calm and 5, okay. Boys chit-chatting away. Love to see the camaraderie. Like we should be getting back underway here for our second game. Already Calm's just giving him the treatment. The classic old right clicks. Always a world of pain here. So how's this bot lane going to fare? I mean, his Gabal is just tearing apart the mag. Just not lucky that Rocket Barrage is going to slowly wear off there, but forced to pop a very, very early sell from the Magnus. You're just going to see him kind of dance around from the lane. Pels is actually going to end up falling top, though. So still in the level 1 on the Phoenix, not having this dive available to get away from the Blade Fury and that tag team. A lot of the damage will come through in this combo. The issue is that they don't have the greatest lane equilibrium. Straight away, Pels, he should be running like this. Nothing, he can't solo deal with the Juggernaut, as we're actually going to see a kill down bot from Jade. We'll go back to that point in a second. The Iro along with the Gyrocopter, able to find a quick pick off on the Mirana. Also a hero who didn't have the level 2, so didn't have that defensive factor. But yeah, what I was trying to say is that Pellsworth, right now, you know, you're not helping out the Sand King. Mark wants to be getting all this solo experience. And what the Phoenix should be doing is playing where you need to find where the Tusk is. Because this is a hero. You've got great lane equilibrium at the moment. You know that the Tusker's job is to be pulling the wave back, either from the small or the hard camp. So Pels should be playing on that side. I mean, he sees where Keith is now. So doesn't need to do that. Can now instead be harassing out the Juggernaut. As we're going to miss another kill. I will make sure we will not miss another. It's paying too much attention to explain. Now this is, yeah, doing what he should. And that's just another missed pull from Keith, which is really making this lane almost, I don't want to say unplayable, but Mark has got almost level 3 out of it. Sand King is a hero that naturally shoves the lane in because of the Sandstorm Classic Finale. But he should not have got as much as what he did so far. And now once they get level 3 up in Pellsworth, the second point in the Fire Spirits is going to cause a disastrous time for Dire, because they are reliant on all the attacks they can get through the tag team, and any little bit of attack blow definitely hinder them. As we said, we're not going to miss another kill this game. I mark my word as I miss almost another kill. Haha. One more right click. Post should be able to dive in forward. Haha, forced to run back down to the southern side. It moves incredibly fast, so he's already got boots along with the Windlace. The Juggernaut, 317. Only me that would happen. He's going to get a courier. Okay. They might just turn for Keith instead. Mark gets a little bit of damage with the Caustic Tick, but Keith's going to make it back under the tower thanks to the Fairy Fire. Meanwhile, we did see a kill happen down bot. Chestnut was able to find the kill on top of the Io. Smiley Face is going to have to TP back to get... Maybe he might be able to bring some islands for Gubala. He's actually going to go mid instead. Refill that bottle from Calm. He wasn't able to get the refill coming through from that power. But this is the thing, man. Radiant. And this is the great thing. Sand King shoves in the lane. You've got a support who's going to play around the hard camp to drag it back. You always want to have this factor. If you're a position 3 that shoves the lane in, then you need your support to play around for pulls. That's exactly what the Phoenix has done. Gotta be careful, actually. Burrow is going to have enough mana pretty soon with the 1 charges. If they want to commit on forward, it's actually Pels that's going to dive. Got 2 more Fire Spirits still to be able to utilize. Gets the connection on neither. And Pels, he might be in trouble as well. It's a beautiful charge from Keith. is able to run back on over and find the last little swipes of the sword.
The prize is mine.
That's right by the bounty as well. It looks like no one's going for them at the moment. Mark, steady and strong. And this lane is getting shoved in heavily, so Mark's getting a lot out of this. I don't want to see him go for the bounty. What did he miss? 2 creeps. 3 creeps. Oof, that's a tough one. Been fascinated by this top side, even though there's been so much action down bot. Just have not been clipping the action. So the Invoker just went level 1 Exort. Interesting. He's gone back for 3 in the Quas, 2 in the Wex. Maybe just needing that damage advantage early on. Lucky there for Calm. Hasten is actually going to try and put a little bit of pressure on here as well. Doesn't have any points up in the chains. He's doing a lot of damage. Down bot though. Gubala, along with Io. Gyrocopter's got the level 6, so they're going to skew him out of range of the cooldown, but Gubala is still ready to rock and roll. Plenty of damage with the Rocket Barrage. Level 3 right now in that ability. So the magical damage through the roof, and he's able to bring down the position 3 Magnus. Gotta keep in mind, this is Gyrocopter that is going to get incredibly farm this game. You're paired with an Io, heavily going to enable you. And this is kind of what we were looking for. an Ogre, an Io, some position 5 to enable the Gyrocopter. And I love what Radiant doing. Get into the pulls. I mean, Mark's got 3 points in Sandstorm. So he's going to get so much farm. Just pull the camp. Sorry, I should say pull the creeps to the camp as Keith. They still got one more Fire Spirit. I don't know if they have the damage now without the Fire Spirit though. Especially if it misses from Pellsworth. That's a big issue. And now they can actually turn. Shard's going to lock in Mark. Fire Strike's still on cooldown. Which I think is something that he might be second guessing now in this lane. You really need to upgrade the Bow Strike first, the Juggernaut. You need that extra cast range for the distance and the cooldown as well. But going for the max out Sandstorm build here, putting a lot more emphasis on trying to keep up with the farm. And you see that's definitely showing. 48 last hits, top of the last hit. This is the thing about the Mag Gyro matchup, is that Gyro's going to always get on top of you. And Mag tries to skewer you away. More than often, you're going to catch the Gyro. And he's like, okay, I want to stay on top of you because of the Rocket Barrage. Khan might be able to get a kill. Yeah, he's got the Iro along with the Phoenix. They've gone a little bit too far from the Dire supports. Plus, going to get punished. Invoker's coming over, but they can actually man fight right now. They don't know how strong they are with the Iro. The issue is that they don't have any more mana from the Ember. So that will at least be the deterrent here. But it looks like in this second game, we're starting to see the lanes get dismantled with the supports making the rotations across the map, securing a couple kills. And the cause of one still who's hanging out. Pellsworth, level 5 once again. A very strong performance on the Phoenix. I mean, he's 1 and 2. Oh, Mark's in trouble. Burrow not far enough away. Dominating streak now for the Juggernaut. And that's exactly what you want here. The Jug using the Omni Slash as early as possible. Getting that ability on cooldown. Securing a kill. How many stacks? So what do they got? They got a triple at the Ancients. All at the moment. Double at the heart as well. Okay. The Kabbalah's actually going to come up top. Jug's got a TP with this, and yeah, he will. But nice rotation from Invoker. Along with Keith, going to be able to catch out the Ire, who was still standing around at the bottom side of the map. So, wasn't fast enough to TP with his position 1 who wants to be playing with. And Kabbalah's going to take a lot of farm up top now. And this is what you want. You send the Jug out of the lane. As soon as the Omni Slash is on cooldown, then the Jug's not going to feel super strong. So I love that rotation from the Gyrocopter. Now you put the Juggernaut in the jungle.
Got it.
You also just see the little bit of inefficiency. Jug TPing back to base just as a panic reaction instead of going to the bottom tier 1 tower, which is exactly where the Jug wants to be, because haha, he wants to be hitting this tower. But I love what Radiant are doing. Like, Mark, because of this build with the max out Sandstorm, is the one to be protecting towers. This is like what we saw last game with the Underlord. The one early on to be sitting around the objectives, keeping them afloat. So Mark, well aware of his job this game. And it's just forcing the rest of the team to now deal with the objectives. Radiant can solo protect their tier 1 tower. And now they can have the rest of the boys to dive up top. But Supernova's going to get dropped. They're going to be careful because Keith's actually going to move on forward with a snowball. Kabbalah's falling very low. Chestnut, Shockwave off the mark. He moves him forward for the RP. But only find the connection on the 1. At least it sets up for the arrow. And the follow-up damage is well and truly there. They're actually going to dip out. Kabbalah back down to bot. Meanwhile, Ember not showing up at the moment here. Would definitely like to see Calm getting involved. Chestnut might just be dead as well. Doesn't have any points in chains. No Remnant as well. If he had a Remnant, I think that was enough damage for the kill. But Chestnut should be able to keep his life. Calm. Oh, nicely done. Just waited until the Slight was back up. Needs to be careful because the team's coming over. He actually wants a man fight. He's going in with the Remnant, but he probably now thinks that was a bit of a mistake as Jay can leap on forward. Doesn't have any more bottle charges, but the damage from the Mirana right now is not there.
Structures are fortified.
So Calm playing very nicely up in the face of Dire in the jungle, finding the kill on the Magnus. Meanwhile, as the rest of Radiant, they're setting up down at the bottom side of the map here. Gobala along with the Io. What has Gobala got right now? He's working on the Aghanims. Looks like the Blade of Alacrity is the one that's being completed. The first component out of 4. Any more stacks? Couple. Still want to continue to see them prioritizing. I don't want Gobala to be here. Because now Jug's got Omni Slash. And who would we say is actually going to win an early game fight? I mean, without Supernova, Dire can kill Supernova very easy, though.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Those deaths on Mark were a bit of an issue. Like, he should have Blink by now because of this Sandstorm build and with how much space he's actually got. He did go double Bracer and Wand and Trank, so, like, let's be real. He went for a lot of stat items. But if he's able to pick up the Blink at a decent, you know, in the next minute or so, then they can definitely protect a tower. As you see, they already can. Like, diving the Sand King is very difficult underneath the T1 tower like that.
Shadows take us.
Radiant, they're actually going to come on over. They're forcing them across the map to bot to mid. With the Moonlight Shadow Dire, they want to fight. Pellsworth. Is they okay with the dive?
Is under attack.
Even should be able to get a D-Ward eventually as well. Yeah, Pell's drops it down. Doesn't have the dive available. He can still definitely drop the Supernova. Might be forced to do so. Chestnut. Not going to even use the RP, but where's the extra chain lockdown? There's no chain still from Calm. So the Supernova's going to get neglected there as the rest of ANU able to run back.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So much for not missing another kill.
This will do just fine.
Calm should be okay. RP used from Chestnut as well. This has been a rough game here for the Mag. Hate to see an RP get whiffed like that, but hey, guess what? My dude's got plenty of time to be able to catch up, and really, this is not his game to be in the limelight. He's the one that's going to give all the extra farm towards the core, and I love that. Even though he whiffs the RP, he knows exactly where he needs to be, fulfilling the Juggernaut's fantasies of hitting that 1000 GPM. And yeah, Invoker looks like he did go for this back into kind of the Coswex builders. Should be able to get a kill. Kind of miss Invoked, unfortunately, though. Pellsworth still takes a lot of damage. He's going to die to the neutrals instead. That's right by the bounties, so Radiant...
The prize is mine.
They're not set up at the moment once again. They're going to end up losing 3 across the map. But what's looking like a pretty even game at the moment. 3,000 net worth lead. Calm should be able to find another solo kill as Chestnut gets a little bit of health back thanks to the one, but the Remnant out, not enough damage. Cute attempt needed one more slight though from the Ember. Big worry the fact that Gobala almost has the Aghanims completed. This is... no, he has got the camp, it looks like, the stack. Keep making stacks, boys. He's going Orchid? Interesting. Orchid. Okay, let's see how the Orchid fares. Stack it, surely, brother. This they got the Ancients, that's the big one. And you still see, I mean, even though Dire have the amplification with the Magnus,
Radiant are scared.
I mean, Jug is just... He's still not able to keep up with enough farm. He's 5-0-1, 83 last hits, but that's 140. So something's got to be going wrong right now. Like, at the end of the game, we'll take a look at the... Oh, down bot. Mark, gonna reel the blink here. It's a lot of magic damage, and that's plenty. 4-point Sandstorm. He's going to try and roll in, but they're just going to drop the Supernova. Burrowstrike comes up in a couple seconds. He's still inside the range of the egg, even Calm coming over just in case it was required there. So 2 kills across the map for the Sand King. And meanwhile, Gyro, along with the Iro, is actually putting a little bit of pressure on the tier 2 tower up top. There's going to be a nice amount of chip damage here. They're getting a lot of extra farm than what would be expected.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
this is... I really want to see how many stacks were made from... in comparison from UOW than ANU.
Dire's bottom tower has
Because the
fallen.
fact that Jug, I mean, he's got 93 last hits when he's got a Maelstrom and Empower, compared to the Gyrocopter who's only got the Iro. And really that farming utensil is now picked up with the Aghanims, which was later than what the Jug would have had his own farming steroid. So very impressed with Gubala's farming patterns, and this is to be expected. Gubala, an incredible carry player. Smiley's doing a great job on the Iro, and I can't just put all the props on them as well. You got to, put the emphasis on Mark. Very important plays from the Sand King to keep these towers alive. Calm's been always up in the face. He's almost got this Orca completed. Double Oblivion staff at the moment. But this is what we were kind of anticipating. I mean, it was a little bit more different because I thought the Invoker was going to be the Exort, but we still haven't really seen the plays coming through from the Invoker at the moment. As they're baiting mid, they do see the movement there. Playing Cole. Joe? Well, they got the Iro. They could even kill him after the Omni, I think. But unfortunately, will he even die to the Colchion? Oh my lord. Coming on mid though, Mark.
Illusion.
No detection at the moment. Sentry dropped along with Dust, but Jay
Dire's middle
won't have
tower
any
is under
follow-up
attack.
there. They still want to brawl though. Phoenix gonna run into the Arrow. Is the lockdown there to be able to protect him? No, the counter initiation a little bit too late for Mark, but the epicenter way too much damage. It's a triple for the Sand King, and now Gobala and Iro even coming up to show to the fight. Chestnut gets the skill back underneath the tower, but it looks like the Juggernaut, he might be in trouble. Orchid and up, they got the Bow Strike available as well, but oh, just a little bit shy from Mark. The Jug's able to run his life away. But the counter initiation, the rebuttal there from the Sand King, jumps in, drops a massive ultimate with the epicenter.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
And now this net worth lead accumulating to 7,000 gold. The economic damage they've done to Dire.
Is under attack.
And they're actually just going to walk in Roche. I mean, Gobala, so much damage. You got the Eye that can tank a little bit. He's got 3 selves as well. Do they have a shovel? Yeah, Phoenix must just be feeding him the selves. And they're just so aware of their timings. I mean, Jug Omni slash on cooldown, Mag RP used, your Epi's down, but they have absolutely no care in the world right now as UOW going to be able to find the Ages. And, I mean, the Jug's got to kind of be careful here. Go for a TP out. They don't have the damage so far. What? Where did he TP? That was a long TP. I don't know where he TP'd. I was not looking on the map. But man, oh man, that felt like a long TP. They might even end up losing the Mirana. One more leap charge after the Orchid with the silence. It is enough lockdown for the homing missile to be able to catch him before he gets back to the tier 2 tower. Sand King, he's even got his own timing retainers jump straight on top of Keith. They get the Bow Strike, but Keith protected thanks to the Tornado.
Fight.
Space for the boys though as UOW moving forward to try and beat down on the tier 2 tower. Chestnut's going to be careful. The skill back calm underneath the top of one to get the Bow Strike. Mark finds 2. They drop the supernova. Dire just forced to retreat back inside the base, but the rest of Radiant, they're diving in underneath the tier 3s. They don't care. They still have some objectives to claim.
Dire's middle tower.
So far ahead in the net worth department. As they are looking just to end this series with a flawless performance. 11, make it 10,000 gold ahead. Oh, he's got yours. It's off for the last second. I think he's still dead though because they've got detection. But Calm's going to try and get his own rebuttal with a kill. He's going to be careful because the damage with the tag team, it's definitely showing up. He's got no more remnants as well. He's actually going to be running straight towards the Invoker. So Calm, he might just get crit down for the Juggernaut instead. Moves pretty fast. It's almost enough for the remnant to come back up. But luckily enough, Juggernaut's Phase Boots is up and available there. So they find 3 kills, and all of a sudden, ANU getting back in the kill department. So what was starting to look a little bit scary, at least they'll make it respectable. The 9,000 gold deficit.
Radiant structures are fortified.
They really want to take these objectives. I love what the Jug's doing. Walking down mid. This is a really nice play, though. You know you don't need the creeps. There's backdoor protection. You got the healing wall to tank up.
Radiant's middle tower has
And this time he's not going to die. Will not be a long TP. Well, it's hunting, though. What's this Aghanim Shard? Interesting. What the heck? Is this good? I actually want to keep an eye on this because I have not seen this much at all. Protection.
Radiant are scanning.
If I claps him with the balls. Oh, Klinko's eye. What's going on? It's actually such a weird shard. Oof. Oof.
Dire's top
They got
tower
Aegis for another minute 30. So we'll look to see if Radiant try and make a play with this right now. They're grouped up. Calm's going to be careful because he's away from the rest of the team. We'll have a little short pause. So it's definitely not as much action as what we saw out of our game 1. But 26 kills, 23 minutes in. I'd say we're still going to be pretty happy with the kill department. And that's all we ever want. Just an action-packed game between these two teams. They can bring a beautiful game of Dota to life. Then, you know, as viewers, that's all we're really looking for. Let's be real here. But keep an eye on the Jug. How's he going? He's still second in net worth. He's still 6-1 and 2, man, but he's only got like the last hits. He's not keeping up, which I guess is kind of to be expected because the Juggernaut doesn't have a way to farm multiple camps like the Gyro kind of can with the Flak Cannon. He can farm stacks very easily, but and it's also a big factor is that Radiant, they do not have, oh sorry, I should say Dire, they don't have the map control. So we've never really seen Jug be able to play with more than his fair share of camps. You know, they still haven't taken this T1 town down bot, so he still can't push like further through the lane. You can't really get, you can kind of get these two camps, but not, it's definitely easier with the outpost getting claimed. Even that one you can kind of start to work towards. The main thing is that the Juggernaut plays around the triangle camp. Like, you have to have this camp available. If you don't have the Ancients, then you'll really see that net worth start to fall off. And that's another thing about the Gyrocopter. Like, both these heroes, because of how fast they're able to clear stacks, you want to be always prioritizing the control around the triangle. So important to keep those Ancients healthy and thriving. And this is one thing that we have not seen Radiant honestly do, is make too many aggressive movements inside the triangle and trying to catch out the Juggernaut. But it's not like it's really been required of them so far this game. You know, they've been doing a perfect job at killing the rest of the team and accumulating a net worth lead through that department. So if they just have to worry about the Juggernaut, because, you know, we brought up earlier that this is not a game where Chestnut is going to be the one in the limelight. He's just feeding the mag. So he's just feeding the Juggernaut. He's going to get a little bit of farm, always kind of to be expected with the Magnus, but this game is a lot on his counter initiations with the RP. Invoker, unfortunately, only, you know, the Spirit Vessel, he's 2, 1, and 3 as well, but we just haven't really seen the Invoker be able to shine so much through the early game and get those pickoffs that we're so used to seeing from a Coswex Invoker. And the build in the Spirit Vessel is not really going to enable you farming wise. Definitely a pick off item here. Radiant. Moving over. Mark. He's going to miss out. Unfortunately, with the tornado getting the connection, he won't be able to blink on forward. Have the follow up with the yours. So Radiant rapid on through, claiming that tier 2 tower up top. They've still got 50 seconds left on the Aegis. Looks like they will not be able to get anything more out of it though. Nice arrow. So I will say this is a super greedy build from Calm. I think he needs one defensive item, and I think it might cost him. Like, you need to use this game for the Jug Omni top lane. What's going on here? Invoker's caught out from Mark. Do they have the detection? Oh no, it's just the IO. They can still use Scepter into the Epi. That should be enough. No, he's running back to the sentry. Why are you running back to the sentry? No. Oh! He survives. And what's happening down bot? Goobler trying to man fight. They haven't used the RP just yet, but the snowball forward, haha, doing a lot of damage. RP finally going to come through. They've still got the Omni Slash as well, but Gabala's going to be careful. The Burrow Strike Mark locks him all in place. Gabala's able to man fight, but the Slash is too much. They'll deal with the Aegis, but Dire is still incredibly weak. They've got this second life, and even Calm's going to wrap on through as well. The Dagon Slight Chains trying to triple kill for the Ember. And Invoker has to hide and scurry away back in the protection of the Ghost Walk. That Aegis lasting a long time there. Gubala getting the second usage out of it. A big fight one for them. Caught out in the top side. Pels has to drop the Supernova. Very defensive, but will keep his life. Wow, I mean, we did see the Juggernaut. Like, here's a lot of their damage here. You get a decent RP on 2. The Omni Slash going to shred them apart, but Calm coming through with the cleanup crew. Gubala as well. He's got a DD now. If they could bottle that, that'd be magnificent. Oh, no. Just expired. And he didn't bottle it. Calm's like, excuse me? Where's my bottle? What? What's going on? Little bit of trolling. The boys going to be pretty happy. 14,000 net worth lead. They're messing around. They should know how ahead they are right now. Top lane. Just going to go for a TPR. Honestly, would not mind seeing Gubala go for a Basher next if that's going to be the big issue here with the Blade Fury TP. Invoker. Be okay. They still know around about where he's moving thanks to homing missile. But diving underneath the tower like that is going to be a little bit too difficult. So this is just a game of stall here. Radiant just going to try and suffocate them inside the fountain. Inside the base, I should say. Wait for that next Aegis. That's the all important one. Once Radiant able to pick up the Aegis, should be able to feel very comfortable with walking on high ground. That's the one issue at the moment. Want to make sure you don't throw this out of this game to sweep the series, and getting off to an early momentum like that is definitely something you want. Man, look at the crits. Mark? Gotta be careful. They're gonna skewer him back, and he doesn't have the Eul Scepter. It's a lot of AoE damage at the moment. Dire incredibly weak for the team fight. Supernova dropped the middle. Jay's gonna move on 4, but they should have the damage to at least force Dire back, and they do. Oh man, they do. 4 will drop. Invoker nowhere to be seen. And even though Dire tried to prioritize dealing with the Supernova, Radiant just have way too much AoE damage to punish them from turning all their resources to deal with Pelsworth's egg. So 4 will be the price to pay, as so will some objectives getting claimed as well. Melee Racks going to end up falling at the mid side. They're even going to be able to find the ranged racks as well. A full set of racks advantage here. And they're going to think about heading up to the top side.
top tower is under
And Jug's up in 25, but they used RP. They still have Omni. But Radiant still have some ultimates of their own as well.
Dire's middle
Epicenter, relocate. Gabala's got cooldown.
barracks are under attack.
Maybe they can skewer the Gyro into a tricky position. But you've still got the Io to be able to relocate him away. Kid's getting melted from the Sunray. Kid's got to be careful, actually. Calm. Might even dive under the tower. I mean, he's got 4 points in the Dagon. That's just another full set of racks going to get claimed. Calm's got to be careful here. They do get the first lockdown. Wasn't fast enough in the fingers. Mark. Oh, Arrow connects. Arrow. He's still with the Gyrocopter. Mark needs to counter-initiate. He needs to do it now. Haas going to be careful with the Power Strike. No! The Blade Fury was available, but he didn't get it fast enough. Juggernaut, no buyback. And the rest of the Radiant, they're open to the opportunity to diving underneath the tier 4 tower.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
As the big kill on the position 1, they're able to skewer in Pellsworth. He still doesn't have the Supernova. So Pels will end up falling. Radiant, they are sticking around. Sanking. Arrowed up. Invoker's kind of moving forward, but Menkobala's shredding them apart. Look at the flak cannon, the crits. It's just too much. The Gyro Io, this draft formidable right now from UOW. And they're looking to try and claim Mega Creeps. I mean, Dire definitely have a lineup to be able to deal with it thanks to the Empower. But they're still going to call it quits. Keith dropping the Gs.
Dire's bottom
And that's going to be all she wrote. Gubala was not the issue. They won game 1 without him. The stand-in coming in. Gubala shows up for the second game. And man, did he look strong on that Gyro. And man, did UOW look strong all up as well. An incredible overall performance from them. Taking this best of 2 in 2 quick maps here. So they're not going to tie it up. They will come out ahead with all the points. A solid overall performance. We did want to see the stacking. 5 from Pels, 4 from Io. Yeah, you just see the difference. 9 stacks compared to the 5 from ANU. You know, even if we want to include it, 10 stacks because the Gyro. So 10 to the 5. I mean, that's just... The Gyro was just getting way too much farm. Like, we take a look. Player net worth, 10 minutes in, 4,200. 15 minutes in, you know, he's still continuing to go. He's about... He goes from 300 ahead up into... about 1,500. No, there's about 1,000. What's 20 minutes in? Yeah, there it goes exponentially. About 2,700, I should say. So it's just the Gyro was a... He was a menace. He was a menace. They did such a good job to be able to enable Gubala. Gubala. An overall solid performance from UOW. And I am excited to see how these boys are able to look through the remaining games as well. Because this is a team that is looking incredibly strong. I mean, we've highlighted that Mark has got this experience in the captain's role. They have the position 1... you know, star player with Gubala, and this is nothing against the rest of the players. I mean, now we've seen in 2 back-to-back games, Pellsworth on the Phoenix is something that you have to be worried about. He's got a level 25 Phoenix. Mark coming through was usually playing position 5. He swapped up, playing a little bit of the 3, and he's looking good. You know, we did a very good performance on that Bloodseeker in game 1, and I was like, all right, you know, I'll go back to the 3, pick up the Sand King. And there were an immense amount of massive epicenter bar strike combinations that were just enough to tilt them over the edge in the early game to have that advantage there. And it's another thing. We also brought up the factor of if you have this, if you got the back pocket strat of an Io, your competitive advantage just goes from here to here. Like, you are just a massive, massive step over your opponent with being able to play the Io. And who knows, maybe Gubala eventually could play it as a position 1. This is what we've seen a lot of teams having that flexibility with the Io. And even at least able to play it. You know, can force out a ban and just open up your draft to some extra picks that you might not usually get. Or some picks that might have been banned out previously, but because they had to ban out the Io, it just enables it more. So all in all, I am incredibly impressed with UOW. Taking game one with the double standing, Gubala coming forward in that second game, and this was just a beautiful performance for them. And that's going to be it for us tonight here. 2 quick games, UOW taking the best of 2-0. I do want to once again say that the Australian University League is presented by Chatime Australia, the bubble tea partner, AOC Monitors, which is our monitor partner, Indomie, our noodle partner, and then Rig, which is the headset partner. A massive shout out to all our sponsors. With that being said, guys, that's just going to be it for us tonight. 2 quick matches to secure UOW their first series victory of the group stages. And with that being said, that's going to be it for us now for week 1 of the Dota 2 group stages. We'll be back in a couple of days for some more action for the group stages commencing in week 2. But I appreciate everyone watching. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. with UOW. Taking game 1-0. Do you want to once again say Australian University League is presented by Chatime Australia. Might have been